Artificial intelligence isn't the same as it was 2 years ago. It's no longer just responding to prompts, it's starting to act. Planning tasks, making decisions, and even running workflows on its own. But AI still can't function financially on its own. The moment it needs to pay for something like an API or a service, it falls back into a human system. Accounts, credentials, and payment methods that a person needs to step in and handle. And as AI keeps evolving quickly, this gap is starting to matter. So that is where the concept of machine-native payments comes in. One of the more recent attempts at solving this is something called the Machine Payments Protocol, or MPP, which was co-authored by Stripe and Tempo Labs. At its core, it's trying to answer a simple question. What would payments look like if they were designed for agents instead of people? Because right now, everything is built around us and for us. We pick plans, sign up for packages, and manually input card details. But this is a pretty awkward process for machines to work with. So MPP flips that around. Instead of forcing software into human workflows, it gives it a way for agents to pay directly over the internet without all the extra steps. The interesting part is how little it actually changes. MPP builds on something that's already been sitting in the background of the internet for years. When a client requests something from a server, the server can respond with different status codes. Most of them you've probably seen, like error 404. MPP leans on one that almost never gets used, 402, payment required. So the new flow becomes pretty straightforward. An agent requests something, and if it costs money, the server sends a 402 with the payment details. The agent then makes the payment using methods like stablecoins or credit cards and receives a cryptographic receipt. It then retries the request to get the service or product, and that is it. No more account creation, filling up the checkout flow, or even needing that final human approval. But the real shift lies in how these transactions happen. MPP doesn't treat every interaction as a separate payment. Instead, it introduces something like a running balance known as sessions. With a session, an agent can deposit funds once and then send small signed vouchers for each interaction. These aren't full transactions, they're more like an IOU that gets settled later. So instead of needing to pay every single time, the agent can keep a running tab. And that approach makes micropayments more practical because you don't need to pay fees on each tiny transaction. Once payments start working like that, the pricing model starts to shift as well. We can move from a subscription or prepaid structure to something more fluid. Services can start charging based on actual usage, and we can pay just for what we use. This also makes a lot more sense for AI agents since they don't act like us. They can continuously run tasks and make hundreds or thousands of small requests in the background without having to wait for a human to approve payments. Now, even though MPP runs on the Tempo blockchain, the protocol itself works with any payment rail. Visa has extended MPP to support card payments on their network, while Stripe has also extended it to support cards, wallets, and other payment methods. For non-crypto users, this could be the way into the world of micropayments. And for developers, both in and out of the crypto space, they can create their own custom payment rail through MPP. Now, if this is starting to sound a bit familiar, that's because it is. Crypto has been exploring similar ideas like micropayments, machine-to-machine economies, and pay-per-use systems for a long time. Projects like the Lightning Network were built to support this vision by enabling fast, low-cost micropayments. MPP has put itself in a similar place, but through a slightly different route by blending blockchain technology with traditional systems. It prioritizes ease of use and integration rather than being fully decentralized. And depending on how you look at it, that could either be a strength or a compromise. On one hand, it makes adoption easier, but on the other, it also means giving up some of the permissionless nature that crypto is known for. So it's probably more accurate to see it as a centralized alternative. While the system is still fairly new, MPP isn't alone in this space. Coinbase's X402 protocol approaches the same problem, but keeps things simpler by focusing on direct per-request payments using stablecoins. It's cleaner in some ways, but less suited for high-frequency usage. Then there's also Google Cloud's AP2, which doesn't deal with payments directly, but focuses on identity and authorization, essentially answering the question of who an agent is and what it's allowed to do. There are different systems that are solving different pieces of the same puzzle. Although MPP's recent mainnet launch included early integrations from more than 100 compatible services, adoption is still in its early stages. Some companies like BrowserBase and Prospect Butcher Co. are already experimenting with use cases like allowing agents to run browser sessions or purchase goods. Major organizations like Visa and OpenAI are also listed as partners, which lends some credibility to the new system. But real-world usage is relatively small, which is typical for new infrastructure at this stage, so only time will tell how far MPP can bring micropayments to our everyday usage. It could end up as a core piece of how machines interact on the internet, or it could settle into a more niche role, working together with other approaches that solve the same problem. The direction itself feels pretty clear. As AI becomes more independent, it also needs a way to operate independently in a financial setting. So let us know below, what do you think about MPP and would you use it? Well, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to stay updated on all things crypto. Bye.